come together to hear about a success and then to draw lessons which may be applicable to them. So we very much look forward to a similar learning experience here in Indonesia. And once again, thank you so much to your administration for hosting and organizing this event. And now we're very honored and would very much like to hear from you.
Thank you, Pak Philips. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good afternoon, everyone. Distinguished participants, welcome again to the city of Jakarta. Apologies, earlier this morning I was unable to be part of the opening session. We had a meeting at the office of the President in which all governors were having a meeting there, and it's only across the street, but I cannot absent. So I have to be there. And glad that finally able to make it here this afternoon. We have heard the experience of Medellin. It was impressive transformations. I was there 5 months ago. It was July, the World City Summits. And looking at those pictures, they were very familiar because those are places that I visited too. And it was the transformations that what I pick up, in addition to the other two that I've spoken earlier, was the engagement of the people. And allow me to share some of the things that we're doing in Jakarta and why we're doing it. Our challenge, as tremendous as many cities, and it's not unique only in Jakarta. You have outlined earlier that we face similar challenge. Disparities between cities across the globe, even from the most modern cities to ours, the gap is now narrowing. Gap between city is narrowing, but the gap within city is widening, and that is a phenomenon across the globe. So our challenge in Jakarta is also to tackle that issue, that government city government should also address the issue of this inequality. And allow me to share a little bit of basic data about Jakarta before I talk further about it. Let me see if the connection works. Hopefully it works. Okay, there we go. So, Jakarta is a city with people in the city. But with its suburbs, it could reach up to 13 million overall. And we have 17 million vehicles, 13 million motorcycle, and 4 million cars. So it is quite a crowded area of Java. We contributed about 18% of our GDP, and look at the gap. The GDP per capita of Jakarta is 14,000, and Indonesia is 3,800. We are talking about gap within country that I mentioned earlier. Within city, within countries. The gap between countries is narrowing, but within it's enlarging. It's a challenge that we will have to tackle. So the area of Jakarta is not big. It's only 660 kilometers square, which is considerably small, but quite dense. Now, what are some of the basic challenges? On the top is environment, on the bottom is social and economic issues. Jakarta is located in the coastal area, and there are no other city in Indonesia that have as many rivers coming into the city as Jakarta, because we have 13 rivers coming in. So if in the highland we have heavy rain, then we are a bit worried and we pray a lot. We waited for the water to come in. So that's first challenge. We have rivers water coming in, and then we have coastal flood. We are in the coastal area, and unfortunately we had experience of land subsidence, and on top of that, the sea level is also rising. So you have combinations of that. And then you have the land subsidence issue, you have air pollution, you have poverty, inequality, access to basic needs, and social cohesion. I mentioned the social cohesion because Jakarta is very diverse from all sectors. Diverse in terms of background and diverse in terms of its social economic status. So given those challenges, we try to see what are the roots of Jakarta's problems. What are the roots? If we don't tackle the roots, we may not be able to solve the problem in a comprehensive way. So we look at the roots. What are the roots? Here is the cause. Our development for decades has been car-oriented development. We plan our city for private vehicles. And even the way we regulate our zoning regulations, the city planning, assume that people were using private vehicles. Give you an illustration. Did you have an opportunity to visit Sudirman Street, which the MRT were located, where you have the car-free day? Did you experience the car-free day yesterday? Yes. How was the street? Was it wide? Was it narrow? Very wide. Very wide. That is one of the widest street in Indonesia. So, this is the logic. If the street is wide, you are allowed to build high-rise. Tall building if the road is wide. If the road is narrow, then you build lower-rise building. So, the building to land ratio is a function of the width of the street. Let's assume that everybody is using private vehicles. So we have suburbs, we have expressway to suburbs, we have density restrictions, and then on top of that, we did not spend enough on building our public transport. This is not a problem in the past 2-3 years, this is a problem that we had for many decades. So we as a nation, we did not prepare our city well. So we are now trying to do that together with the national government. I'll go further on that, on the density restrictions later on. And then we have underinvestment in basic service, limited access to clean water, disintegrated waste management, and lack of affordable housing. And this is reflected, if you look at some of the data. Access to clean water, only 47% of the people had access to pipe water. And therefore, the poor paid $42 per month for water, and the middle, who have access to pipe water, they paid $8.50. So it is more expensive being a less wealthy family in Jakarta. It is a challenge. Now, housing. Half of us are not homeowner, half homeowner. Okay? And then we're talking, of course, derivative of that is education level and all of that. So I'm not going to go to the detail on that. But this is just an illustration that we did not invest enough on basic services. Basically, this is what happened. We had capital, we had our urban area, and this may be happening across the globe. Indonesia is not the only case, perhaps. In a brief observation, that's also the case. Many of our planners had rural mindset in planning urban city, in which when we plan our city, we did not look at this as in a setting that is different than rural area. In rural area, you don't have to worry about water. Every family is able to take care of their own source of water. They have well in their property. And then if you're talking about waste management, because of the way the water was being used, it can immediately discharge to a facility within your property. So the issue of water is never an issue. But here in the city, that's a completely different issue. So what here should happen? We have traffic deadlock, we have pollution problem, we have flood and land subsidence. This is some of the challenge and the root. Let me give you an illustrations about the density. This is Jakarta. The brown one, the gray one, that's the area of Jakarta. The gray color is the area that is covered. Under our regulations today, 92% of Jakarta is covered by street, land, by property, buildings, and all of that. If we adopted the rule that was used in Manhattan, this is what we get. So Jakarta can be converted into this size. The rest can be green. If we adopted the rules that was adopted in Singapore, it could be this much. This is as a simulations. If we plan our city as a city that you have a high density, that's what happened. So now we are doing a transformations. That's why most areas dominated by floor-rise structure because of our approach. So how are we going to go about this? This is our approach. So now we are shifting the fundamentals of our approach from car-oriented development into transit-oriented development. Meaning, structural density is a function of the distance from the public transport area. So if you're near the stations, you're able to build high density structure. If you are far away from the stations, then it's vice versa. So that is one approach. The other is rapid investment in public services. So these are the two, and that is done not only by us, but also hand in hand with the national government. And I must also say here that we are fortunate that like many national leaders today, many of them were former mayor of the city. Similar with Indonesia. So when I presented this case to our president, immediately he said, this is exactly the challenge I had. This is exactly the challenge I had. So we had perfect partnership because there is no way we can do all of this on our own. And it's just not possible. So we have to do it together with the national government. So we are under that transformation. So those are point number one that I would like to share here. Transforming the fundamentals of the policies from car-oriented to transit-oriented, from under-investment public service into rapid investment. And this is what we have agreed with the national government. So the MRT, today we have 16 kilometers, we are expanding to 223. We just had a meeting earlier this afternoon, just on this MRT. And then the LRT from 5.8 to 116 kilometers. And as you said earlier, Santiago, you said earlier, planning is good, execution is a must. And we are executing that part. And then Transjakarta, the same thing. So these are main indicators, and all of this is not going to be completed in 5 years. This is a vision of 2030. It requires time, requires resources. So now, that's point number one. Point number two that I'd like to share here is about our approach. We'd like to see city government act in the 21st century manner, not in the old way. What is that? This is the city evolutions that we've been trying, we've been campaigning here in our city. City went through a transformation of city 1.0, 2.0, 3.0, 4.0. Those are city transformations. And what are the difference? Let's look at the first two. Can you see it clearly? Okay. In a city 1.0, city government is simply administrator and the people are resident. And then we engage through socializations. We decide, we announce, we make sure that everyone understands our decision and everyone accepts it. And then we improve our role into a service provider, which we provide services and the people are being seen as customer. So we have consultations, we seek their comment. We like to hear what do you think. But who made all the decision? Us. Who execute? Us. We will listen to you. We may not do what you say, but we will listen. And that's City 2.0 in which enlarged role. This is where we're aiming. City government is as collaborator, and then the people are being treated as co-creator. And the public is engaged through collaborations. This may not be able to be done, say 2 decades ago or 3 decades ago. Why? Because we did not have enough middle class, we did not have enough highly educated segment of our society. Today we do. And they do have economic power, they do have buying power, they do have network, they do have resources. Especially in the case of Jakarta, there is no other city in Indonesia that have private sector as extensive as Jakarta. So what happened is, we'd like to create what is in the literature called a City 4.0. And we are now transforming. The challenge on doing this is not on the people's side. The challenge is on the bureaucracy side. Bureaucracy is used to do everything on its own and do it by the book, and then suddenly we have to collaborate. And collaborations meaning doing it together. And it's like learning to write from, used to write, and if you're right-handed, you try to learn using your left hand. That's a bit challenging. And that's the way our city is now learning. So it's more like co-creator. What are the examples of this? Let me show you some examples in practice. First case is when we did the urban regeneration community action plan. We have around 21 priority neighborhood, the kampung that was pictured on your slide, that the other side of Jakarta, and we have no less than 445, it's called city hamlets, which is a slum area of Jakarta. So instead of us coming there with plan, with money, with all these technical resources, and then we execute, we do it the other way around. We come to them and have community action plan, the CAP process, in which we listen to them what do they want to be built in that community. And this is an example of the community action plan that took place. Who are involved? 1, government. 2 is the community. 3 is experts that we invited. 4 is the facilitator. So those 4 components were involved. And we discussed their plan. What do they want, and then what government is planning to do. And then we have this community-based exercise about how do we build a better neighborhood in this place. Often, government know less than the community. We all know that. So we learn, we pick up the experience. These are taking place now in Jakarta, and we will. This is some of the result when they were doing kampung beautifications. And then this is an example of infiltration well development. The left side is before before the project starts, and then the last one is when the project is completed. This is also the same thing. The kampung is being, in Bahasa we always use the word revitalisasi, which is restoring the street, and that is not done by us. This is done together with the community. Same thing with when we build the communal septic tank development. That's also the same thing. So we're doing that with the community. Now this is one of the most symbolic is the kampung aquarium revitalizations, because we will be building the kampung. We'll be building houses, and it's all the planning side is done together with the people. Now, let me also give you an illustration on the traffic side. When you visited Sudirman Street, you may be seeing some of this wayfinding signage. Those are not done by us. I mean, we build it, but the idea comes from, it's called Masyarakat Transportasi, no, I forget the name. Forum Diskusi Transportasi Jakarta. The Jakarta Transportation Discussion Forum. These are professionals who meet at the cafe after office to discuss about Jakarta transportation problems. And they come up with solutions on signage. And we adopted their proposal, we adopted their idea, and it has become, if you visited the area, you will be, unfortunately the pictures is not here, but when you come to many of these bus stops, you will be able to see those. Now, last one is on the public transport. We are doing the 4.0 approach on public transport. So when we talk about treating the community as co-creator, that doesn't mean the cooperation is non-monetary or non-business. It could be a business model. So this is what we're doing. We integrate all public transport in Jakarta into a single system, which we call Jaklingko. It links buses, microbuses, MRT, LRT into a single system. And when we did that, just to give you an illustration, on the bus ridership, for example, the daily ridership was 338,000 in 2016. Now it's 700,000 in 2 years. That's at the average. If you're talking about peak riderships, it could reach almost 1 million per day. Okay? And that is done because we invited everyone and treated everyone equal, that we are partner in providing public services and in terms of public transport. The public knows it as one, even though inside there are more than 20 operators. But integrations in terms of routes, integration in terms of tickets, integration in terms of management. Just last week, the national train, the commuter train, is officially transferred to Jakarta. So Jakarta will be handling commuter train in Jakarta, the Jakarta government. So this is what happened. In 1 year, in 2 years, from 123 million people riding into 255 million. What does it mean? It means less people riding private vehicles, more people riding public transport. And that's why when it comes to traffic, even though we still have traffic issue, but Jakarta was number 4 most congested city in the world. Dropped to number 7. We hope to get out of top 10. You know, usually you want to be on the top 10. This time we want to get out of top 10. And that's our aim. That can be done 2 things. Us reducing and other city get more traffic. So if other city get more traffic, then we're going down. But the target is we're getting out of top 10. And we're happy with that. And of course, we're grateful that we are one of 3 cities that received Sustainable Transport Award in 2020. And next month, we will be receiving the award. So again, this is not done, all of it, by government. This is done as a collaboration, and we treated our citizen as co-creator, and we treated ourselves as collaborator. this is a mindset transformation. If everyone within the bureaucracy finally able to adopt this idea, we will be able to get many things done and fit to the needs of the people. So those are two major issues that I would like to share with you. One is the transformations of mindset of development from car-oriented into transit-oriented and serious investment in basic infrastructure. And two is the mindset of bureaucracy from being regulator and then enlarging, becoming service provider, but now becoming collaborator. And we're grateful to see the beginning. We're still learning. We're still in the process, but we are happy to see the initial result. Look forward for better. So these are some of the examples of a lesson learned from Jakarta that I'd like to share here, and would like to be able for you to digest, contemplate. And why I mention this is 21st century, we're grateful with this technology. Even today, we have 12 channels for people to report problems within the city. The channels is from social media all the way to our portal. So, with that in mind, we need to empower the citizens to be our partner, because we are able to connect with them in ways that was unimaginable 2 decades ago. Now we're able to get feedbacks, we're able to get ideas, and whenever we're inviting our friends to the City Hall, I always start by saying, I'm here to borrow your brain. Do lend it to us. And then we're going to give the credits to anyone who share their brain with us. So, Pak Philips, I truly appreciate the opportunity to share, and also to everyone, truly appreciate. And I do hope your stay in Jakarta is a stay that you will remember with good things, and hope Jakarta treats you well. And do enjoy other sections of Jakarta beside the business district. We have some area in the north and in the southeast that hopefully will also give you a different perspective about the city. Again, thank you for coming, thank you for your participations, and look forward for further engagement south and south. And Jakarta is happy to facilitate further. Thank you.